Ooga Ooga Cunts, it's Schmeckle. I'm sure by now the lot of you have either read or at least heard about the Why I'll Never Date a Feminist article written by a guy named Dave Hunn. He makes some very valid points in his article, and I'll be sure to link to it in the description. But we're not going to talk about Davy Boy today. We don't need to, because a charming fellow named Stephen Lerner has already done it for us. Did I mention that Steve's a feminist? Let's take a fucking look. Alright, fuck it, I lied. We will go over the original article really quick, just because I know the lot of you are probably a bunch of lazy fucks, and, frankly, this just makes it easier for both of us. So, here, let's take a look. If you look for a reason to hate men, chances are you're going to find it. The truth is, I don't blame women, especially in my generation, for hating men. They've been told there's a wage gap, I disagree. That there's a culture of rape on college campuses, I also disagree. And that patriarchy is keeping them oppressed in almost every facet of their lives, I really, really disagree. Political issues have been creeping into the bedroom. Now they're in romance. Because of the hateful culture, men are now demanding consent texts on campus before engaging in raunchy post-party one-night stands. Men's rights activists have taken flight with a new philosophy called Red Pill, which aims to point out how derogatory, hypocritical, and vindictive third-wave feminists can be. No doubt, there are men who should be buried underneath the prison. There's plenty of examples of how the justice system has failed victims, but it also fails men. The fathers' rights movement reports that only 14% of custodial parents are fathers. Mothers are more likely to be awarded child support. Women are more likely to graduate college, they live longer, are less likely to die in the workplace, less likely to go to prison, and extremely less likely to die in wartime combat. When it comes to dating, I don't care about any of that. Unless you do. I used to think dating across the political aisle was not only possible, but practical. Hell, if James Carville and Mary Madeline can get along, I can date someone who thinks my genitals automatically give me privileges that they don't have, right? Wrong. People who are more loyal to their gender and not their significant other don't make good partners. They will always look at you as inherently more fortunate than them. They've bought into the battle of the sexes mentality, and it often pervades their perceptions of romance. Romance turns into a power struggle, rather than a partnership. There are complex advantages and disadvantages to being a man or a woman in America. No doubt men enjoy privileges, but women don't. But that boat goes both ways. The truth is, these aren't political issues, but deeply personal ones. Oftentimes, anti-male or anti-female rhetoric is rooted in a previous bad experience. They're cultural opinions that reflect our worldviews and thusly affect how we want to raise our families. Now that America is more politically divided than ever, it's impossible to date someone with staunchly different ideals than you. It's a shame, really, that this divide is widening between the sexes. It's evident that gender politics is hurting our culture. More marriages are failing, and women are reporting that they're unhappier now than ever. Perhaps in several decades this won't be the case. Maybe one day men and women will stop trying to eliminate the lines between us and realize it's the differences between the sexes that make romance, family, and love an enjoyable experience. Alright, so now that you've heard the original article, let's see what Stephen Lerner has to say. When I first read the Why I'll Never Date a Feminist column, I couldn't help but wonder if the article missed the opportunity to praise feminism for empowering women. Or perhaps a bad first date influenced the questionable article. And now here, right off the bat, I've got a couple points. First off, obviously no opportunity was missed to praise feminism. This guy was aiming for the exact opposite. You know that, Stephen. You're an adult. Second, feminism does not, in fact, empower women. It does the exact opposite and makes them believe that they are constant victims. And third, yes, I think that it is very probable that Dave Hunn had the misfortune of having a first date, perhaps a blind date. Sorry, Dave, you're no looker. But I think perhaps he did have a first date with somebody who turned out to be a feminist, and hey, I wouldn't wish that on any of you. All of you fucking shitlords that listen to me, all, 16 of you? I would not wish that on any of you, not even T-Bing. So anyway, Stephen goes on to say, in case you missed it, the controversial essay published in Josephine magazine got the internet talking. The author, Dave Hunn, incorrectly assumed that feminism is somehow destroying the very fabric of the courtship process. In his misogynistic rant, the author openly disagrees with numerous facts. He denies the existence of the gender wage gap.
The wage gap is simply the average earnings of men and women working full-time. It does not count for different job positions, hours worked, or different jobs. It has nothing to do with the same job. It has nothing to do with discrimination.
He doesn't believe that rape culture is rampant on college campuses, and he disagrees with all factual evidence explaining the oppression that women face. What's next? Is the author going to write that gravity is a complete hoax? That is actually the next step in our plan. After we completely cover up female oppression, the patriarchy, and the wage gap, we are going to finally team up with the rest of the Illuminati, the Freemasons, Elvis, and JFK's real killer to expose to the world that gravity was something that we made up in 1912 to keep the people down. The fact that you know this is very, very dangerous. Beware the men in black, Stephen. So he goes on to say, in his Woman Hater Manifesto, it's a manifesto now, Hun accused feminism as the main culprit behind modern-day failed relationships. People who are more loyal to their gender and not their significant other don't make good partners, Hun wrote. It's a shame, really, that this divide is widening between the sexes. It appears that the author has very little understanding as to what feminism actually is. Feminism has strengthened relationships by giving a voice to women and by promoting equality between partners. Or, simply put, feminism and romance go perfectly together. But instead of embracing that very obvious sentiment, the author summarizes feminism with one false definition. It's anti-male, he wrote. And it's that anti-feminist statement that people on social media called out as the crux of the author's flawed essay. And then there's a Twitter post here asking him to read the definition of feminism. I've already made a video about this. Basically, either the definition of feminism doesn't actually apply to feminists anymore, or these feminists aren't feminists. So he goes on to say, the author firmly believes that being a feminist means being anti-male, which isn't true. On the contrary, feminism is about destroying social and economic barriers for women, and for men. In fact, some of the greatest supporters of feminism are men. By defeating the traditional gender system and ending the objectification of women, everyone will benefit. As singer and activist Annie Lennox said, feminism is not about being more powerful than men. It's about having equal rights with protection, support, and justice. And while the author of the contentious essay refuses to date feminists, I would gladly be fortunate to date a feminist when given the opportunity. Feminists are intelligent, generous, articulate, drama-free, judgment-free, ambitious, open-minded, and independent. If you don't want to date a feminist, it's your choice, but you're clearly missing out on something great. I really like how he ended it there with a bunch of easily provably false generalizations of what, in his mind, a feminist actually is. You're a little misguided there, Steve. See, I can give you just ages, just fucking literal ages of material to watch of feminists just being, oh fuck, what's the word the kids are using? Cringy. They are just fucking the worst people that you can run into nowadays. And I mean, they can ruin your day just based on the fact that now your ears are bloody from their screams. And I can really see why somebody wouldn't want to date a feminist, because you'd have to assume that in those areas, with those segments of the population, you're going to get more false rape allegations, because to them, everything is rape. You're going to be expected to follow these certain rules that, I mean, to logical people make absolutely no sense. I mean, they want cucks. They want cucks, not cocks. And, I mean, fuck, I want a chick who wants a cock. And I guess that's really enough said about that. I'm Schmeckle, and I want a chick that wants my dick. Now that's about it for today. I am going the fuck to bed. As always, support Peach Bailey. She'll be linked below. I'd like to thank Shoe Head for making that wage gap button so the rest of us don't have to get repetitive. And fucking good job, Dave Hun. You made a good article. All the regular people I call out, T-Bing, Satsu 2 Cents, The Satiritician, Adam and his Apple, fuck. Just those ones for tonight. That's it. I said that's it. Fuck off.